Revelation 3 verse 7, and to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, He who is holy, who is true, who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, and who shuts and no one opens, says this. Revelation 3-7 begins Christ's message to the church in Philadelphia. Before addressing the church's circumstances, Jesus first reminds them who he is. This is important because our view of Christ determines how we respond to the challenges of life. When believers face difficulties, opposition, uncertainty, or disappointment, the answer is often found not in changing circumstances, but in looking again at the character of Jesus. First, Jesus describes himself as He who is holy. Holiness means complete moral perfection. Jesus is entirely separate from sin, evil, and corruption. Everything he does is pure and righteous. In today's world, people are constantly changing their views about what is right and wrong. Society's standards shift from generation to generation, but Christ never changes. His holiness reminds us that God's standards are perfect and eternal. When we are confused by the voices around us, we can trust the holy character of Jesus to guide us in the right direction. Next, Jesus says that he is true. This means that he is completely trustworthy and reliable. He never lies, deceives, or breaks a promise. We live in an age where trust is often difficult. Promises are broken, relationships fail, and many people struggle to know whom they can believe. Jesus stands apart from all of that. Every promise he has made will come to pass. His promises of forgiveness, salvation, eternal life, and his future return are absolutely certain. When circumstances make us doubt, Revelation 3-7 reminds us that Christ remains true even when our feelings fluctuate. Jesus then declares that he has the key of David. This is a reference to royal authority. In biblical times, the person who possessed the key controlled access and exercised authority over a household or kingdom. By holding the key of David, Jesus is declaring his authority over God's kingdom. He alone determines entrance into his kingdom. No earthly ruler, religious leader, or human institution possesses that authority. This truth is especially important today because many people place their confidence in human systems, political leaders, or personal achievements. Revelation 3-7 reminds us that ultimate authority belongs to Christ alone. Jesus continues by saying that he opens and no one will shut. This speaks of his sovereign control over opportunities and circumstances. When Christ opens a door according to his will, no person can permanently prevent his purposes from being accomplished. Sometimes God opens doors for ministry, employment, relationships, or opportunities to share the gospel. What appears impossible from a human perspective becomes possible because Christ is at work. This should encourage believers who feel weak or limited. Our success does not depend solely on our strength, but on the authority of the one who opens doors. At the same time, Jesus says that he shuts and no one opens. While we often rejoice over open doors, we struggle with closed ones. Sometimes prayers seem unanswered, opportunities disappear, plans fail, relationships do not develop as we hoped. Yet Christ's closing of a door is just as purposeful as his opening of one. Because he is holy and true, we can trust his decisions. Often, what seems like disappointment today is revealed later to be God's protection or redirection. Jesus sees the future perfectly, while we see only a small part of the picture. This verse is highly relevant for many people worry about the future, finances, health, relationships, or world events. Revelation 3-7 reminds us that Jesus is still in control. He is holy, so we can trust his character. He is true, so we can trust his promises. He holds the key of David, so we can trust his authority. He opens doors according to his wisdom and closes doors according to his perfect plan. The church in Philadelphia was encouraged to place its confidence not in its own strength but in the Lord. The same message applies today. No matter what challenges we face, Jesus Christ remains sovereign over every circumstance. Nothing can stop what he has determined to accomplish, and nothing can force open a door he has chosen to close. Therefore, believers can move forward with confidence, knowing that their lives are in the hands of the holy and true one who rules over all things.